What is up, everybody? Back from San Diego to talk about the $50,000 DraftKings Best Ball Championship. We beat the Hurricane. We are back. Let's do this thing. All right, my name is Liam Murphy for those just discovering the channel. Previous Best Ball Mania 2 champion, three-time NFL Best Ball winner. Here with some exciting news. In San Diego this past weekend, DraftKings had not only the $50,000 Best Ball Championship, but they also had the World Baseball Championship, one of the things that you enter a qualifier for. And so, I had thought about flying out for that, and playing the Best Ball Championship myself, but, decided I'd rather save my entry fees for large field tournaments where, I think it's easier to realize your skill edge rather than putting, all of your eggs in one basket. But Yoda Cal, and his name is not Yuda, it's Yoda, for those curious. Yoda Cal, those who play DFS probably recognize Yoda Cal. In my opinion, probably, the best DFS player on the planet, probably all time. Wouldn't say I'm super qualified to speak on that, but the man won, 4 or 5 Millie Makers last year across multiple sports. Been in the game a long time, and is a DFS professional. So he won a qualifier in the baseball. He won a qualifier in baseball, which I entered the qualifier too. I don't play baseball. Literally just kind of clicked some names, was like, threw one bold in it, see if I could Sadie into the Best Ball Championship. Those who know me know I spent a little over a month in Vegas, so I didn't exactly want to fly out to San Diego, but thought it'd be really cool. Yoda hit me up and said, well, first he followed me on Twitter, and I just assumed it was either a Twitter bot trying to scam, but I had actually already followed him, probably because I think ETR did an interview with him, and he hit me up and he said, hey, I'm going to be playing in the Best Ball Championship, and basically wanted to hire me. He offered me either cash or equity in the team. And so we met. I said, as long as you get the okay from DraftKings that you're allowed to have an advisor, I'm totally cool with it. Obviously, if they were going to say no, it's just not worth me going out for this. They said, yep, advisors are okay. And obviously I took the equity, and then I gave Yoda some money to purchase a higher percent in the team. Now, the field and format was a simple 12-man league on DraftKings and its total points weeks 1 through 17. First is going to get $400,000. Second will get $200,000, and it's rake free. So there's no third, there's no anything else. And for those curious, by the way, I'm going to do some DraftKings $10 Best Ball Millie Maker drafts after I finish talking about this experience. So, anyways, hit me up. That's the format, and the field was full of some of the regulars that I battle in the 555. There was guys like Brandon Adams, very solid. There were guys like Cal Spears, very solid. And then there was some DFS guys who, all these people are wildly successful in life. Obviously, they could afford to do a $50,000 best ball draft without issue. But they're not best ball people, right? So I thought the field could be a little bit soft because of that. And I do think some teams are maybe dead, but most of the teams are in the mix. So I helped advise Yoda's team here. Yoda made the picks. Just involved a lot of texting going back and forth. This is Brandon Adams. I don't really know who this is. I recognize him from DFS. Whistles Goes Woo, one of the top DFS players in the world. Peter Gibbons, solid drafter. He's in a lot of 5.55s. Solid DFS guy too. Grinders Cal formed Roto Grinders. Big T and JBC, both big DFS guys that work for Run Pure, I believe. Tukun has won several Millie Makers. He's in a lot of 5.55s too. And you can see the builds were not that typical. You found out your draft slot like a minute or so before the draft kicked off. And a lot of these guys were doing their first best ball ever, right? Which, if you don't know the inner workings of DraftKings, this is 30-second pick clocks, right? So some of the guys were auto drafting some of their picks. Like the 2-hole kept on autoing a pick. Maybe he had a queue filled. I don't know. You can see ADP was thrown a little bit out the window where the mid-range quarterbacks all went nearly a full round ahead of where they usually go. Guys like Tua, guys like Richardson, Prescott. I thought that our team is the Yoda Cal team right here. AJ Brown, Tony Pollard, Ramondre, Mike Williams, Ayuk, JSN, James Cook, Jordan Addison, Daniel Jones, Zach Charbonnet, Laporta, Jalen Warren, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Luke Musgrave, Rashid Shaheed, Tyler Conklin, Michael Mayer, Deontay Hardy, and Josh Downs. So that is a 3-5-8-4 build. Obviously, you don't want to get buried at wide receiver in this format. They're typically the highest scoring. You have to start 3 each week. At the same time, this draft was going to be a total wild card where, with guys doing their first drafts all time, maybe they go so running back heavy. So we opted for a more balanced build, going Tony Pollard in the second round, who, I think has potential to be literally the RB1 this year. Kind of like Eckler made that big jump when Melvin Gordon got out of town, expecting something similar for Pollard with Zeke out of town. Ramondre as our other anchor. And then it was real nice to get Addison in the 8th round so that we have 5 wide receivers who are very good and should have plenty of spike weeks. The Ayuk and JSN for me is I wanted 2 of Ayuk, JSN, Gabe Davis. Kind of let Yoda likes Ayuk, so we went with Ayuk. No bother there. Gabe Davis got picked, so we got JSN. We got James Cook. So we're kind of covering the flex with the wide receiver and the running back spots. I think our team's got a solid shot at winning it. I think there's some other solid built teams here too where we're probably coin flipping. Like Whistle's getting Kupp and Garrett Wilson start. Feels pretty nice. I do think the Ramondre pick in the 3rd round kind of caused some panic where then Gibbs went, then Etienne went, then Mixon went. And that caused like Najee to go in the 4th and then Alexander Madison to go in the 4th. A lot of our guys had solid preseason week 2 games. We have Jalen Warren, housed the 60-yard touchdown. Charbonnet got a lot of usage. Musgrave got a lot of usage. I was real happy that we got Daniel Jones in the 9th after this run on quarterbacks where it went Tua, Richardson, Prescott, and then Cousins, Smith, Jones. So we got like the last quarterback who I feel has really solid upside. And then Love and Purdy too, being in the mix as upside quarterbacks, should be able to reach, 25, 30 points in some spike week games. Both of these quarterbacks are correlated, where we have Love with Musgrave, we have Purdy with Ayuk. Daniel Jones is unstacked, but if you had to unstack a quarterback, he is one that is fine to unstack. Obviously his rushing ability. We went Shaheed in the 16th with, I was planning to take Slayton in the 17th if he did not get drafted, but he did. You can see there's some wild card picks here, like Jake Ferguson goes in the 10th. But yeah, I mean, the experience is real cool. So DraftKings flew us out. Got to meet some of the other DFS high stakes people. A couple of people noticed me from my best ball streams. Not surprisingly, a lot of the DFS professionals have a lot of free time, like me. And so some of them watched my content, came to say hi. A lot of people were there for the baseball championship and just, did this as something to do the Friday night. But yeah, it was a great time. It's going to be fun sweating it. And I hope Yoda and I win this tournament. Would be pretty solid. So let me know what team you guys like and what team you guys think are dead. I do think the only question is Pollard. I like. Maybe it should have been Garrett Wilson, but then I don't think we get Daniel Jones. Again, Ramondre I like. We would have taken Metcalf over Ramondre. We planned to go more wide receiver heavy than we did at the top of the draft. Would have gone Metcalf, would have gone Higgins, would have gone Ridley. So something like AJ Brown, Pollard, Debo, Mike Williams was in the mix. But I like that we only had to go 5 running backs. And again, we have 5 high-quality wideouts from offenses I want to target: the Eagles, the Chargers, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Vikings. And then our last 3 wide receivers are a little bit dartish, but I think they all have spike weeks: Hardy, Shaheed, Downs. And we opted for 4 tight end. In the 11th is when Kincaid got drafted. Would have obviously drafted Kincaid over Laporta if he made it back. Charbonnet and Warren, just 2 guys I like, as they have league winner potential. I think they're going to rise in cost too. They're both good picks for PPR. So yeah, flew out, did the draft Friday, got up 5 a.m. I kept it, I didn't advertise that I was going to be coming out here. I didn't want other people to recruit a +1. The Run Peer guys had a whole team huddled around a laptop trying to communicate with them. So they had other ones helping them. Yeah, I'm looking at Two Guns Twitter right here. If you want to see this draft board, you can also click on my Twitter at Cheslium to see the team. Yoda, a real cool guy, liked him a lot. Here's a picture of the championship here. I don't know everyone's name, but this was it. This was the format. This was the hotel. There is a hurricane that hit San Diego, and then I guess some earthquakes. So I flew out Saturday night on the red eye, got back yesterday, and now time to get back into the best ball street. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I didn't get a hang for all of the baseball event, but had a great time. Thought DraftKings hosted a great event, and yeah, so that was that. Let's pull up on DraftKings now. Going to draft. I've only done, I think, like 17 of the $10 DraftKings Millionaire Makers. Usually I kind of save it for last because I think it's like the one that's like probably hardest to win. It's a million, it's a 1.2 million sized field almost. So it's just like, and I'm a fast draft guy. I don't want to be spending a lot of time doing this if I'm not if I don't have a realistic chance of winning. Which, you know, all these lottos, probably never going to win again in my life, but we're certainly going to try. And so I'm jumping in the next, I think we'll do, I don't know, 3 to 5 right now of these. So we're in one right now. We pulled the 105. Let's get in another one. I like to multi-table these. It's just kind of efficient use of my time. Usually I would just pull these out into separate tabs, but I honestly don't know how to share my screen quite like that. So we're just going to have to tab between them. As far as content coming up, got a lot of content coming up this week. Hayden Wink's coming on the show this Wednesday. I think Yoda's on our team. You know, thing about best ball is like any of our players can blow their ACL and then, all right, then we just don't win. Wow, this guy just throws on auto draft. Good for you, Tiger Ball. All right, so we got 3 pulled up right now. We pulled the 105, the 110, and the 103. I personally kind of like the back end pick for total points format. Just think your two and 3 round guys are really solid. Where, I mean, Pollard and Ramondre were previously 2-3 turn guys. Pollard has obviously climbed in ADP. Ramondre has dropped with the Zeke signing, which I don't think should happen. We'll see if this ticks down or what. I have 2 monitors, and I don't know why, but StreamYard won't let me share my whole screen of my larger monitor, which is how I do the draft. So I'll have to look into that. One of them has kicked off here. Exciting news. Going to announce this on Twitter soon, but Matthew Berry is going to be coming on the channel August 31st. So next Thursday, Matthew's going to be coming on for about 30-minute interview or so. You know, obviously, man's very busy. Really excited for that he would come on, you know, such a small channel. All right, we'll go CMC this time. I don't have as much CMC, so we'll get some of that. And you never know in these DraftKings streets. DraftKings $10 best ball can just be the absolute Wild West. Obviously not if you guys watching right now are drafting against me. We'll be a little bit sharper, but for anyone just discovering this, this is full point PPR, playoff formats, $10, $1 mil to first if you make the finals. Even if you make the finals, it's something like 1,000 other teams you have to beat, maybe more, maybe 2,000. I don't remember. Let's get a Tyreek one over here. Finn, I don't really I get tagged all the time in builds on Twitter. Frankly, I just don't have the time to really like go through all of those. So the link to join my Discord is below. Make sure you're in the Discord. I always announce when I'm going live in the Discord. And I do give feedback to teams in the Discord, and so does the community when I'm not in there. So really great community we're building there. So make sure you join the Discord below. And we are officially over the 2,600 subscriber goal on the road to 3,000. So help me out if you haven't subscribed. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 3K. Thank you for telling me where you guys are, Cal and Chris. Don't know why you're jumping in with me, you know? Go beat up on your own squad. So the real challenge with multi-tabling these will just be remembering my structure. I've been a big Calvin Ridley guy this whole time. Literally clicked him every single time when he was a 3-4 turn player. And if you watched my streams, you would know that. A lot of these guys that are rising in ADP, Jalen Warren, Calvin Ridley, we've been on them since day one. Tank Bigsby, you can go back and look at the streams on my channel. Literally day one, I've been touting these guys. So next year, you can either wait until training camp or you can just watch my content. I will have my best ball site fully launched by next year. I think 3 is very manageable. Again, I would not be doing it like I'm doing it right now if I wasn't streaming. I would have each draft window pulled out separately. I got a big ass monitor, so just the easiest way. Let's get Ridley here. Could Ridley disappoint? Of course he could, right? The man didn't play football last year, but I'm going to use CMC as an anchor here. Try to hit a bunch of wideouts. Yoda said he'll come on the channel if we win. So we'll have him on at the end of January. You know, I told the man, you know, he's like a shadowy figure. You know, he has a Twitter, but he doesn't post. So yeah, will be a good time having him on. Once we win this shit. Let's get DK Metcalf. So on one of them, we have an AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Metcalf start. On the other, we have a Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, Josh Allen start. And on the third, we have a CMC, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins start. DraftKings is 20 rounds, unlike Underdog. But they also, if there's an auto drafter, they instantly pick if they miss 2 picks, which really helps the draft go so much faster. So not unheard of for, and actually I would say usually a DraftKings draft goes faster than an Underdog draft. DraftKings is a very reactionary market where they add a Q tag if you know, like if a player's like sitting out of practice or something, they get hit with the Q tag, which like really causes players' ADP to free fall. You have a lot less plugged in drafters on DraftKings, which leads most people to think that helps their, you know, like, oh, it must be so soft. It must be so easy to win. My pushback on that would be if What's required to win is to be in a lobby with people who don't know anything. You can't control for that. You know what I mean? So I kind of think that like Underdog is mostly plugged in drafters. Now there's a lot more groupthink happening over on Underdog, but I think that means like I kind of like that you don't need to like be in a lobby with someone taking Brian Hoyer in the first round, if that's what it takes to win. The top of the draft is always easier when you're multi-tabling versus like the mid rounds. Wild West of DK, you can see one guy here has got the 4 RB start. We'll see how many he goes total. I like Christian Watson a lot. As you can see, I've drafted him in 2 of them at least. No, in all 3. I do think it's possible he doesn't separate as much from like Dubs and Reed and Musgrave as his ADP justifies, but at the same time, just like massive spike week player. And I like the Packers to be pretty good. It's my first share of Breece Hall in the 5th round. Happy to get that. It is good to get some drafts now on DK before, news adjusts. You could see Josh Jacobs went in the 2nd round of one of these off of the report that he's going to report to the team today. I've been drafting some of Josh Jacobs. Wow, Najee's here in the 5th. I don't really like drafting Najee at all. So we won't. I do draft some Najee in the 5th. Uh-oh. Got that one in just in time. What would Christian Watson's ADP be with Rodgers compared to Love? Not sure, man. Kind of hard to answer questions right now, too. All right, fine. Like 6th round Najee is where I'm okay getting a share. We have DK Metcalf, too. Kind of surprised he doesn't go higher. I've drafted some Najee in the 5th round, too. Even if he is a disappointing guy from a total points perspective over the course of a season because Jaylen Warren gets a lot more run, he can fall in the end zone twice, week 17. I put out a tweet that after Jaylen Warren ran 60 yards in the preseason to house it, I put out a tweet that Najee Harris's longest run of his career is 22 yards. Obviously, I just made that number up. It was a joke. It was pretty close, though. I think it's like 37 yards or something like that. And it's like my highest interaction tweet of all time. I'm up to 120 in the BBM4 streets, I believe. What round are we at right now? Oh, shit. What? Yeah, let's get Kittle here. I like that. I'm not down on Kittle like others. You know, like I like to buy the elite tight ends, especially if they are cheap. You can see we got a dude with the Run Pure logo here with a 3 QB team. Don't know if he's doesn't seem to be auto drafting. Would not recommend that. It is very possible to get squeezed out at quarterback on a site like DraftKings. Gabe Davis right here to stack with Josh Allen feels pretty good. See, the thing is like everyone likes to tweet out their sick DraftKings teams. And again, it's like if everyone has sick DraftKings teams, it doesn't mean a lot that you do too. You know? But this is a pretty sick team. But yeah, I mean, I definitely gamble quarterback on DraftKings quite a bit. So it's very possible to get where I just have to like piecemeal it together with some ugly dudes. Go Kyle Pitts here. Still think Kyle Pitts can be, you know, around 1,000 yards this year with some touchdowns. That's a steal if that happens. And we'll go him again. Don't know why Hollywood's ADP has been falling so much. Like Hollywood plenty. Should be a pretty solid target monster. Where are we at right now? Yeah, I'm not a huge Miles Sanders guy, but I mean, in the 8th round, again, like, okay, so the dude's sitting out with a groin injury from the preseason. Big deal. So we got 2-4-1 build on one team, a 2-5-1 build on the other, and a 1-1-4-1 on the other. Don't know if this is the best viewing experience. Arguably one draft is, I would say, but I make no money on YouTube, so this is really just for my sanity, so I don't have to do as many sessions. Which it's getting close to time where I just need to put nose to the grindstone here and bang out a bunch of drafts. Still got plenty to do on drafters. Underdog I'll easily reach. Still got a lot to do on DraftKings. It's not, but it's fun. I mean, I can just I can do the other two off screen and just keep you guys with one if that is what the let's do that. I'll do these two by myself over here, and we'll just keep this one for the viewers. If you guys want it to go back the old way, just let me know. I'll bring all the teams up at the end, though, to recap them for the group. Might as well hop in this drafters draft. Danny, relax, brother. I'm trying to service the chat and multi-table these. Please think of my sanity over here. Obviously, this is not, you do bleed some EV multi-tabling like I do. Is it enough to not do it for me? No, definitely not. All right, so this one is a CMC, Brees Hall, Charbonnet, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Christian Watson, Hollywood Brown, Zay Flowers, George Kittle as our lone tight end. We got this dude going for QBs. Hashtag DraftKings. So maybe I should have gone QB here, but whatever. I'll literally take 5 QBs if I have to. Drafters is very easy to multi-table because they just show you like all of them at the top. Last year I just did several sessions of like 8 to 10 DraftKings at the same time with my literally purchased the big monitor with that in mind. Really drained my dopamine, as you can imagine. All right. So we need a QB. So kind of nice that Rodgers is just there. So we got Rodgers with Garrett Wilson and Brees. I don't think Rodgers is going to smash or anything, but he'll be in the mix. What's going on, Johnny? Getting ready to really start hammering these drafts. Yeah, me too, man. Like I literally just need to like set some time aside and be like, for the next hour, I'm drafting teams. So we have a 1-3-5-1. Pretty good. Don't draft a lot of P. Ryan, but in the 11th, kind of like him. So we got CMC, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Christian Watson, Brees Hall, George Kittle, Hollywood Brown, Zay Flowers, Zach Charbonnet, Aaron Rodgers, and P. Ryan start over here. I'll bring in my other teams at the end to recap them. Again, don't plan to multi-table a bunch on stream, but it's what we're doing right now. If you missed it, gonna have Matthew Berry on the channel next week. Really pumped about that. So you mean like all the like mid-range to like late range quarterbacks are getting really pulled up on DraftKings? Kind of makes sense. I would say casual drafters will panic more when they don't have a position filled. So if they don't have quarterback filled, they're going to start taking, Kenny Pickett in the 11th round or whatever. Which I also think you should be doing as like a sharp drafter if you need to adjust to the room. You do not want to get buried at any of the positions. You just kind of need to draft to what the room's doing sometimes. Like I had to take Christian Watson the 11th on one of these teams. I mean, Jordan Love. Okay. And we're gonna take Love here in the 12th. The Love and Rodgers pairing, it was meant to be. Again, this is me just adjusting to the room. Jordan Love, like, I don't know. Any advice on how to quit a job you hate and find something you're passionate about, like best ball? I mean, you got to know your situation. Like if you have a family that's depending on you, or you just need to pay the bills, do not quit a job without finding a second job. If you're working a job that that's not too taxing on you, and you think you could, let's get Purdy on this team too and be done at quarterback. So we got the Rodgers, Love, Purdy pairing. Purdy to go with Kittle. Most people, aka almost no one else, is going to be able to just play best ball tournaments as a living. I want to be very clear with that. I do not want to misrepresent that. And I think I'm a very good best ball player, but obviously I've ran very well as, I've ran good as well. If I got second place in BBM2, which was like 250K instead of first, I would not have quit my job at the time. 250K is nice, but you have to keep in mind you do have to pay taxes and all that. So I don't know exactly what to tell you, man, other than, if you have a job that's not too taxing, maybe find a second job to earn some secondary income. And then, I don't know, try to find what you think you might want to do. But best ball is not a realistic profession for most people. Anyone else in the chat, feel free to weigh in on that. To be clear, I've played best ball tournaments as my pretty sole income stream for the past several years, and I do not want to be doing that for all of my life. I just think it's too hard to depend on best ball solely as an income stream. and Adam Levitan of ETR. I've always liked what he said on the subject as far as we're going to major reach for Musgrave here, but we're chatting, so who cares? Stacked with love. He's always said that the upside of business is like tremendously more than gambling. Which I would agree with. We had to go naked Stafford on one of these teams. Part of the reason I plan to launch a site, I think I could have a premier site in fantasy football in best ball land. And I didn't, last year I was like, all right, I won $1 million the year before. Put significant action into best ball, won 2 more tournaments. But, again, it's like if I don't think I would be, I don't know, would maybe get a job. Like $1 million is not enough at the age of 28 or whatever to just never work again in your life, especially if you plan on having like kids and a family. It's like $1 million to send a kid to school or will be. All right. Who are we going to add to this squad? Add Mingo. Mims. Yeah, daycare, man. Daycare is like a full-time job itself. It can be like 50 to 60K. Steve asking, at what point does stacking start to lose its value? I think it depends on the offense, Steve. And, I think it depends if you're talking about from a total points perspective or from a playoff advancement perspective. From a playoff advancement perspective, I think this is getting hard now that I'm in the later rounds. I'm not able to pay attention to like what these crazy 4 quarterback teams are doing that well. But yeah, from a playoff advancement perspective, I think having a lot of players on the same team can help you advance low-owned guys into the finals, which is not something most people spend enough time thinking about. Hard to say what this team needs more of. Done at quarterback. Probably add one more tight end, but I could be done. Always like to pair the 69 pairing. I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but there was a best ball porno released yesterday. You'll have to look at Peter Overzet's Twitter where someone was linking it in there. Obviously going to add Jaden Reed to stack with Love. Cal Dog, I don't got time to look at your team while I'm multi-tabling 3 teams and trying to answer chat questions. Thanks for understanding. But yeah, Steve, I think it depends on the team, and the situation. Do I want 4 Steelers on a team? No. 4 Bills? A little bit easier to justify. Trying to look at these other teams to remind myself what they need position-wise. What's up? Rookie running backs, plenty of upside, potential downside too. So I haven't auto-drafted anything yet. Thank you. No compliment needed. I did catch, I didn't finish the ETR stream. I watched some of it, though. I wish I jumped in that draft. This dude takes Conklin. Going to be done with wide receiver on this team. It is so far a CMC, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Christian Watson, Breece Hall, George Kittle, Hollywood Brown, Zay Flowers, Zach Charbonnet, Aaron Rodgers, Samaje P. Ryan, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Luke Musgrave, Mims, Reed, Shaheed, Slayton. 2 more picks. Probably just going to throw them both into the running back slot and take my chances with the Kittle-Musgrave combo. Yeah, I don't understand why. Siraj asking about the ADP gap between London and Pitts. I think it's people's bias against Pitts from just like he's burned them in the past. So I think that's a big reason why. And then also, you do have to start 3 wide receivers and you only need to start 1 tight end. So even though I am an elite tight end guy, you know, I drafted a lot of 4 tight end teams last year on DK, knowing that you can kind of make up that position with volume. We're in the 19th round in all the drafts, so I'll bring them all up at the end. Kyron Slayton, a little mini there. So yeah, I mean, even if a tight end and a wide receiver project similarly, you know, like one form of logic is that, oh shit, what does this team need? Running back. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Oh, shit. So one form of logic is that you should just take the you should take the tight end because they project for similar points. However, just because for the fact that you have to start 3 wide receivers really does give a lot of tie breaks to wide receiver. Now you can take less damn, man, running back got killed on this one. Now you get to take less tight ends when you go one of the elites. I don't remember what position I want to do here. Chris Evans, welcome to the team. Again, guys, I know this is probably not the best viewer experience. Don't plan to multi-table a lot of drafts unless I'm doing something insane like 50 at once. But we did finish up the squad here. In fact, we finished up 2 of the squads. One of them's ugly, had to go 4 QB. Unstacked too. Got sniped on some of my guys. So we finished up with a 3-6-9-2. CMC, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Christian Watson, Breece Hall, George Kittle, Hollywood Brown, Zay Flowers, Zach Charbonnet, Aaron Rodgers, Samaje Perine, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Musgrave, Mims, Reed, Shaheed, Slayton, Kyron Williams, Chris Evans. Still don't know how things are going to play out in Cincy, but I mix Chris Evans in. Seems to have the lead at the pass catching role. My other team has an A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Metcalf, Christian Watson, JSN, Najee Harris, Kyle Pitts, Miles Sanders, Zach Charbonnet, A.J. Dillon, Jordan Love, Jameson Williams, Rashee Rice, Matt Stafford, Musgrave, Kyler Murray, Shaheed, Desmond Ridder, Evan Hull, Josh Kelly. And my last team has a Tyreek Hill, Ridley, Josh Allen, Christian Watson, Breece Hall, Gabe Davis, Kyle Pitts, Jordan Addison, David Montgomery, Kincaid, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Warren, Tyler Boyd, Damian Harris, Marvin Mims, CJ Stroud, Kendre Miller, Slayton, McBride, and Hardy. Why do I use StreamYard instead of OBS? Because I am lazy. OBS has a lot more, featurality or whatever. The ability to use, again, like what Cal's saying is I could have all the boards up separately on OBS. So I really should bite the bullet and learn more about OBS. But StreamYard is so easy, man. All I gotta do is share my screen. I usually only do one draft. So once I get the other things I need to do, like launching the site, I'll bite the bullet on OBS and get better there. Shiraz saying, in redrafts home leagues, pitch should get bumped up since you can't make up for it with raw volume. Absolutely, man. I would, especially if your home league is soft, I would try to get an elite tight end, right? Like in one ways, yeah, you get to stream the good matchups, but it's like kind of hard to think through that. Such a high variance position anyways. And if you think you can outdraft your league mates at running back and wide receiver late, go get that elite tight end. Do I have any exposure to Chase Edmonds? No. In fact, kind of think Sean Tucker's the RB2 there, but don't know. That doesn't mean he's a bad pick, I just personally haven't gotten there. All right, guys, I need to get some breakfast. Got a late start today. We'll be back tomorrow, maybe tonight, with another stream. Going to be going live with Hayden on Wednesday. Have more guests coming down the pipe. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Have a great day. Peace out.